Hey, everybody. We are back, Janine and Liz, from a summer hiatus. So if you've been following along, you have probably heard and seen us talking about the summer rewind. We revisited kind of the best of hidden gems or one episodes that got a lot of attention. But now we are back with fresh new topics, conversations, guests for you throughout this fall and winter and spring.
Yes. So excited to be back.
So excited. We missed each other. We missed talking to you guys. So we are re-energized, recharged. And today we're going to talk about just that kind of being back. It's perfect time, transition of seasons, transition of a lot of life things for people, whether you have kids in school, college, just maybe buckling back down to work if you had some fluidity during the summer months, and what that can feel like, some roadblocks or some hiccups along the way, and maybe kind of giving some relatable personal experiences that Janine and I are currently kind of moving through, and maybe you can take a piece of that with you as maybe inspiration, motivation, or just like a relatable combo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Falling into routine.
Yes.
All of the things that happen in this time of year. I always say I feel like being a kid going back to school, like when Labor Day would be approaching, like I hated Labor Day and I never liked this time of year. And I've carried that through all the way through into my adult life.
Yeah. A lot of people struggle with this seasonal change, but I think also a lot of people, like, I actually love it.
Yes, I hear that too.
I feel more motivated this time of year to kind of reset some things or recommit to some habits much more than I ever would on like January 1st or other kind of traditional times.
Yeah.
I want to clean my house out. I'm excited to kind of change fashion and the fall foods. So I do think that there
comes
like
the pumpkins
and mums.
All things pumpkin.
Yes, I know. It already started. Everything like the Dunkin' Donuts and the Starbucks drinks.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like people are talking about those being out, which I'm always like, we can probably wait until after Labor Day for those at least. But yeah, I feel like there's kind of a swing on if people are embracing this season or kind of being like, oh, I have to get back to A, B, and C versus I get to get back. So share a little bit about why you feel a little resistance to this. I mean, I know you're a summer girl.
Yeah, I love summer. I love heat. I love, my favorite thing is going from air conditioning into the heat. I would rather be warm than cold. And people, you're in the cold and you go into the warmth and people feel that like comfort, and I feel it in the opposite direction. Like you said, I think that there's, the split feelings of which is better, but it's funny because this year, because of the big changes that are going on in my life, I'm trying to think of it more, like you said, as a rebirth and a reset and time to, make some changes and do some organization. Now I'm going to have time.
Yes.
Which is really sad. My kids are both off to college. So I am, for the first time, experiencing empty nest and walking by bedrooms with nobody in them. For me, I'm working on trying to make this a positive and a productive time of year for me, but this is also a huge change for me. And it comes at a time where it's usually a sad time for me anyway, you know? And I know everybody's different. Like my kids going back to school was always just like when I went back to school, like a sad time, like, going back to routine and going back to set schedules and not seeing them, in the morning and having like quality time and planning out trips and day trips and fun stuff. And now it's like, going back to reality check, basically.
Yeah.
So it's like hitting me hard on both ends. So I'm like trying to think of it as, I started journaling. I'm using my own journal and I'm, saying like, what lists can I make of things that I want to do this fall, and trying to make it productive and more of a positive than keep dwelling on the fact that, I'm alone.
Yes.
I'm not alone really. I have my husband with me too, but
Yes.
it's like, it is. It's like, it's a really big, you just don't, it's another one of those things that until you get there, you don't realize what it's going to do to your overall routine.
Yeah.
Right. So like trying to think about how am I meal prepping now for just the two of us, even though I have a husband that eats like a family of 6 anyway. So people will say, oh, your food bill is going to be cheaper, but it's really not because he'll just eat what they don't.
Sure. Yes.
But yeah, so it's like, it's change. And I think, again, for some people, change is exciting and fun. And for other people, change is like scary and difficult. And so I'm here to tell all the mamas that are sad and already missing their kids going back to school and already fearing all the differences in their life and in their house that like you have company where, you're not alone in this. We're in it together. And I hope that I can share some points and some tips on ways that we can, turn it into a positive.
Yeah, I think there's so much opportunity in that.
Yeah.
When you came in today before we got on the mics, you said the word grief, which that's a period, that's a stage. So you move through that. That's a very like real thing. But then there's a getting through it and finding a whole new kind of opportunity to explore things that you can't when you're a mom and you're a mom that really is like dialed into like your kid's life. And, kind of on an opposite stage or another stage that you've already been through, I'm in the 2 boys in school, busy, going into a new season where I'm kind of like, okay, this summer is a whirlwind. Let's get some routine going. Let's get them back in school, even though like I do feel so lucky that my boys, I generally love having them around. They are just like the coolest kids and just really awesome in terms of like self-motivating and doing things. And so I have some heartache because I just love being with them, but I am also like, okay, I need to work and like get things moving. And so I am embracing the back to routine. But for me, the routine deepens. So not only, do we have school, but then the sports practices and the games on the weekends and all of that stuff. And so my struggle and almost my anxiety going into the new season or stress is like, how are we going to manage this? Who's going to go here? And I know for years of experience, I have a 10 and 13-year-old, that it always works out. It's fine. I need to go through the new schedule for a couple of weeks and then it becomes the new normal.
Right.
But it can definitely feel very overwhelming. And I definitely have found over the years that during the summer, it's a little more easy breezy. I'm not thinking so much about like, what are we eating here? What are we doing this? Because someone can grab something at 7 or 9 o'clock at night or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But during the school year, we have such limited time, and I think a lot of people can relate to this with activities, is that I have to food prep. Like I cannot not food prep or nobody is eating. And similar to your husband, I have one son who eats
I can't even
tremendously.
imagine how much
and then
food
my
you guys go
husband,
through.
he wants meals, not like, can you make me a peanut butter sandwich? Like it's like full meals multiple times a day. So the more that I have prepped, the more that they're going to get what they need, and I'm going to not bear the brunt of it every single day. And so going into this new season, feeling some experience from past seasons, already kind of having some tools that I've built over the years to be like, okay, this is how we're going to approach this. So our needs are met, our stress is limited, and we feel successful moving throughout. One thing that I do get more of in the summer, even though my kids are home, is the freedom to go on a walk here or pop into a class there or do whatever, kind of for me, especially because my kids are a little older. It's actually harder now to do those things because I work and then we're out the door by 4 o'clock for the night. So I find myself having to really prioritize movement. It doesn't come as easy.
Yeah. And it's not nice out anymore.
It's not as nice.
Yeah,
and I feel like in the summer, I'm just moving more. I'm out gardening. I'm mowing my lawn. Like I'm not noticing, but I'm just more active. So I guess formal exercise doesn't feel as necessary as it does in the colder months.
Right.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about being a business owner, someone who leads others in fitness, wellness, nutrition, and what you see as some kind of trends of people where they are getting maybe a little stuck, or they take the transition from summer to fall, or I guess any transition that can bring on stress or anxiety. What are some things that you feel like, one, you see, and two, can be helpful for people, for yourself?
Yeah, so this is the time where it gets really slow. Like you don't expect it yet, or you think that, oh, everybody's going back to school, so we'll get like everyone coming back, right, to schedules. But it takes like a good month or two for people to like, I feel like people aren't like in their groove until like mid-October.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're like, okay, right, we're on all cylinders, firing on all cylinders, and everybody's back in the game. And then the holidays start coming. So like I'm always trying to find ways and do incentive type things to get people to like stay on track. Like let's not have these dips in our, lives and times of life that we stop doing everything because of too much stress, or because of too much organized things going on, or because we're not back into a schedule, right? I think it's another time of year where we start thinking like, okay, so it's like the January 1st or the Monday people, right? Like I can't do this until January 1, or I'm not going to start that until Monday, right? Yes. It's like the same thing with, all right, the kids go back to school on August 30th, and then it's Labor Day, and then and then they're not booked back to a regular schedule until September 6th. And then, so I'm going to do this on October 1st.
Yes.
Right. And it's like, no, like you just missed out on so much opportunity, right? Like, so trying to get our mindsets to stop thinking like that and say, all right, I might not get anything in this weekend, but it's okay. The next available time I have, let me go for that walk. Let me start meal prepping. Let me go back to the gym. Like, let's not have to wait 3 weeks or another month before doing that.
Yeah, not an all or nothing kind of mentality.
Yeah, and I'm like, you probably see it a lot too because of the kids in sports and everybody's really busy. So, you kind of think like, well, when they get organized, then I'll get organized. Yeah. Right. And I think it's limiting because you're just making yourself have more excuses, which we are all so good at, right? Like the excuse, and then it's so easy to make those excuses when you're doing for everybody else. I also can make the excuse like, oh, I'm going to be sad and I'm just going to go watch Netflix and binge on something, and right? Instead of saying, okay, take this time to reorganize the closet and go for the extra mile on the walk and, do the extra workout or get stuff done, and in like just your daily life, like things that you wanted to do for months that you haven't had time to do. But instead of like, feeling bad for yourself or waiting for the next best time frame, like just getting it done. Like we say, don't wait till you have a full hour to work out. If you have 15 minutes, go do it, right? It's going to add up throughout the day. If you feel like you ate like crap all weekend, don't wait till Monday. Do it to your next, do it in your next meal. Like, I think we have to get out of the mindset of making excuses to wait.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're always...
Well, there's always something.
There's always something.
Yes. Yeah. And then a lot of times we get stuck. Something in our health or our life forces us to do it. But if we can kind of get in front of that, you're gonna feel much better as you're moving through each stage, each maybe stressful, changing, emotional, invigorating, whatever it is. If you can maintain some sort of routine and balance and have expectations that it's gonna look different from season to season or month to month, or if your kids are home or not, but that it's not like, I'm not doing this until this date at all. Like, finding some place in the middle, because ultimately that's caring for yourself. And I think, if you are a sports parent or your kids are involved in a lot of activities that involve you sitting and waiting a lot, one thing that has changed over the years that's gotten more and more for me. I could easily sit in my car for hours every single day waiting for them in practice, no exaggeration, scrolling my phone. I have done that many, many times. And, I try to make sure that that isn't what is the normal. And that is only because that is what I am. That is what my intention is to be. I am lucky that my kids practice at a college, so there's a track there. And but even if not, the amount of times I've walked in circles around a rink, or I've walked up and down stairs, or just moved my body while they're at practice, and I kind of see it as like, okay, well, they're in there for however long. I'm going to do this for 20 minutes, and then I can scroll my phone. Or instead of sitting in the bleachers, I'm going to stand. So if my hips and my backs are starting to feel tight. Or, even silly little stretches. I'll put my toes up for calf stretches when I'm just standing there watching a game, or grab my heel. Just like little things that might sound silly, but honestly really do add up. Or taking that waiting time and making it productive time. So I'll often plan my errands in their practice time and get familiar with the town that they're in. So for us, it's Andover a lot. And so I know where the Whole Foods is, and the grocery store, and the gas station, and all of that stuff. And it feels good because that can be easily wasted time. And now I need to fit all of this stuff in a time period where I don't really have. And it's actually a gift. This is how I've been thinking about this season. I'm like, I am actually gifted this 2 hours. I can't go anywhere. I'm essentially trapped. Right. So how can I make it work for me? Like, how often do we think as moms, we're like, we don't have any time. Like, I actually have this time. You actually have that time.
Yep.
Like, try to get off your phone, or get out of your car, or off the sitting bleachers, and do something that you feel like you can check a box, or feel productive, or whatever that may be. There's always something there. And even if it's like meditation, if you are in your car and it's the middle of the winter, close your eyes, breathe, bring a book, like something that you feel like that it returns back to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's time found so often in when you think that you have none, right? Like I think I said this last season. We were talking about like when I'm making a post for the studio, or for anything, when we're doing posts and we're spending so much time like thinking about what we're writing for the caption and what we're looking for the pictures. And I used to sit down, and like just look over my phone, crunched over. Have you seen the new meme when they put the neck brace on and everybody's walking around like with the neck braces to lift them back up? I see that happening in our lifetime.
Future, absolutely.
Yes. But I hop on the treadmill and I'll do my post. Yeah. And next thing I know, it's 27 minutes. It's 38 minutes. And I just walked for 38 minutes rather than sitting crunched over at the front desk, taking even longer because people are coming up to me asking questions, et cetera, right? So same thing, like if it's nice out, you can scroll on your phone and go for a walk. Well, be careful doing that. But you know what I mean? Better than if you're going to look through your text or respond to text or whatever, go for a walk and do it. Or like you said, get off your phone and spend some time in your head, or thinking, or journaling, or writing down your to-do lists. Or there's so many things that we can make the most out of our time that we don't.
Yeah, that benefits your well-being.
Yeah.
I think that that's a smart thing too, is as much as you can, thinking of things that we can, because it's true. Like there is truth to being said. Like we are busy. We have jobs. We have relationships. We have children. We have commitments to other people. And so it's all well and good to be like, I'm going to work out 5 days a week for an hour. I'm going to spend Sundays food prepping. I'm going to visit the farmer's market. That sounds great. That's probably not realistic for most people all the time. You might have a week where you're like, yes, everything lined up, but usually that's not the case. And so how can you optimize? And so, I think that my strongest habits in the world of like coaching or, wellness people, you'll hear a lot of habit stacking. You'll hear that phrase. Like if you'll have more success with what you're doing or introducing something new is with habit stacking. If you're already doing something, add the new thing into the thing that you've already have a rhythm with.
Yep.
And so I feel like if I'm looking at my daily habits of self-care and just like bringing it back to my well-being, it's usually habit stacking. Without even really knowing, I've said on here before, hands down, my strongest habit, or one of the three that I would say that I have, is every single night, most 90% of nights, I stretch. And I am doing that within that 95 or 90% of the time, 70% in front of the TV, watching my like nightly episode. I'm not trying to have a, yogi deep moment. I am just trying to stretch out the day in my body, listen to what it needs, give some movement before I go to bed.
Yeah.
So I'm stretching, I'm doing something good, but I am also watching TV and not just like sitting on the couch. And then I'll go back to the couch and I'll sit for the like last 15 minutes. But I really do think that has been a habit of mine for years and years and years, because I've stacked it with something else and it hasn't become an inconvenience. And now when I'm sitting on the couch and I don't do that, I literally look at the floor. I'm like, why wouldn't you do that? Like, this is not an inconvenience to you at all. Like, you are getting the pleasure that you want in the moment, or what you consider the relax at the end of the day, but you're also doing something that your body actually really needs. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? I think it would be great too if we could use the fall just like we use January 1st, right? Like, think about the things, make a bucket list for the fall of things that you want to start to habit stack, or things that you want to add to your daily routine, right? Like, if you could make a bucket list, give me 3 things you would add to your fall into routine.
Yeah. So I have a list right now. I'm like, this is the season where like my list is also my husband's list, and it's like everybody's list. And like, we are doing this. A lot of it is organization and efficiency. And so,
which is a huge part of the stress pillar.
Totally.
Like, the more organized you are, the less stress you have.
I just want space and not even like, when I say cleanliness, I don't mean like my house clean because my house is clean, but just like clear countertops and like organized cabinets and closets where my kids' stuff isn't overflowing. The baseball stuff is put away in the basement. The winter stuff is put out. Like, those type of things, I really feel like help me like be like, everything that I need when I turn left and right is in its place for this next season. And so, one of the things on my bucket list of getting my attention is creating a space around me that allows me to not feel stressed.
Yeah.
It isn't like when you look at a countertop that has like piles of paper and like the junk drawer is basically visible and all of that stuff, it's hard to be like, okay, it's like you feel that energy.
You feel it. Absolutely.
So that's one of mine. Food prep goes out the window for us in summer. Like, I mean, I'll cut up some fruit and like we'll have veggies and hummus and things to easily grab that are healthy. But like, I'm not making like soups and dishes and having like, leftovers so that they can grab them throughout the week when they come home from school. Like, I don't feel like cooking. I don't really want a lot of hot food.
Summer's also easier with like grab and go stuff.
Yes.
Like, there's always
more freshness,
vegetables and like it's so much easier, I feel like.
Totally. And we cook on the grill, so that a lot of times that's not an abundance of food to kind of like carry over. So it definitely, food prep is a habit that I kind of have like, I don't slip right back into, because I love fall food. Yeah. I get excited, and it really does have a lot to do with the temperature change and like the feeling of like warmth and coziness and all of that coming in. So that's another thing that I am adding to the fall bucket list is my surroundings, organization, food prep, and then carving out some time for myself to connect with other people. I definitely have in this last like year or two, focused so much on work and building my kids, and that I've lost a lot of like, not lost, I haven't prioritized a lot of female relationships. If I go for a walk, I'll just go by myself. It's easier just to go than pick up the phone and call. Or I want to go take a group class instead of getting a friend, or let's go meet for coffee or whatever. Because sometimes it does feel easier to just go and do it, because I'm still doing
especially when you're busy.
Yeah, and I'm doing most of those things. But whenever I do it and I slow down enough and I remind myself it doesn't have to be 6 hours. You can literally meet at the Wakefield Lake and walk for an hour and then both go on your way. I feel so energized, and that there's a part of me that is fulfilled that I think is just like a woman friendship connection that I forgot how much I miss. So those are the things. And then I think like because so many of the people I share life with have similar mindsets around health and habits and prioritizing, movement and sharing ideas, then you have these really great motivating conversations, and it's like a full circle thing. It just reminds you of like, I don't know, this like positive energy in your life. So those are the 3, I don't even know if this answered your question, like bucket list priority things that I'm dialing into this fall. And I just want to note that like none of that has to do with diet, restriction, working out a ton, but all of those things will support me eating probably a little bit more well-rounded and more variety than I eat in the summer, which is better for me, my health, because I'm going to get more. I will kind of refocus in on making sure I'm getting all the foods that I need. If I'm sharing movement or sharing time with someone else, it's going to just encourage more of that. So a lot of times your choices aren't straightforward. Like, I got to get to the gym more, or I need to eat this. It's your lifestyle. That's what I'm trying to say, is like all of those things are about my lifestyle, supporting my lifestyle in the best for me way. And I think that that's a really cool way to approach it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually, as you're saying that, I'm getting excited because I feel like I want like our upcoming episodes to really touch on, we're definitely living in a time and in a society and with so much, and we talk about the noise all the time, but like with so much like pinpointed information, like we're in these boxes, like you turn on the TV or you turn on social media and there's somebody talking about you have to get more protein, or you have to take this supplement, or you have to do this thing, or if you're in this time of your life, this is what you need, right? Whereas most of us don't even have our lifestyles figured out yet, right? Like, I think that if people just take a deep breath and stop needing to buy something to make their life better, or needing to have like the recipe to make their life better. And I mean that in a literal sense too. Yeah. Like, you can find so much health and wellness without a recipe, without a thing, without, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be that. You can just start thinking about lifestyle changes that are going to bring you so much well-being and happiness and feelings of taking care of yourself in a way that could make all the things that you want to change start changing, right?
Yeah, I believe to my core every cell in my body in the foundations we talk about. Yes. And moving your body and eating well and sleeping and loving relationships and connection and getting outside. So for me, it's actually pretty simple. Doesn't mean I don't lose track of it. It doesn't mean that life doesn't consume me. But truly, I know to the depths of my soul that is all that I need to recommit to, reprioritize, is looking for, am I sleeping? Am I getting outside? Am I moving my body? Am I sharing space with people that I love and support me? And if the answer is no to those things, that's where I need to put my attention. And so when I'm moving through an overwhelming period or a new season or a time of change, that lifestyle that you were just talking about, that is it. That is the foundation. That is the root. That is it. That is it.
And it's almost funny. No one wants to hear that. Everyone wants you to give them a gimmick, a trend, a fad, or something. And for an example, I'm going to say a longtime client. I know she listens to us, so she's going to laugh when she hears me bring this up. But so many people come to you with what's going on, right? I don't know what I need. And they're seeing all this stuff on media channels, and do I need magnesium? I don't think I'm sleeping well. Do I need what should I be taking something? Do I need vitamin B supplements? Do I need this? Do I need that? And it's funny, I was talking about, I'd love to hear more about the why you think you're not sleeping. Do you have a wind down routine? You know, are you stressing about anything? Like, how's your diet been over the summer? Have you been really busy? What's your lifestyle been like? And then I'm like, you know, you don't always need, it's not always a supplement, or it's not always that. It could be like more whole foods that could bring you what you need. You know, like people say they need a selenium supplement. I'm like, oh, I started eating 2 Brazil nuts every day.
Yeah.
And it has everything that you need for that. And when she was walking away, she said, okay, so I'm going to start eating 2 Brazil nuts. And I just started like laughing. Like, I did not say that.
Yes, but that's what you wanted.
You needed me to say, right? Like, it's like, people want you to say, not like, oh, you're dehydrated, drink more water. No, they want you to say, drink 4 ounces of water with a teaspoon of watermelon juice and
sprinkling of salt or whatever.
Salt, right? Yeah. Like, you have to give them the recipe. And I know, I get it. Like, we live this lifestyle. It's so much easier for us to say, I'm just shifting this and now I feel better, right? Like, it is. But I just want people to realize how easy it can be.
Believe in that.
Believe in your ability and what's already in you to make change, and know what can make you feel better, do better, and then we'll have a trickle-down effect on everything else.
Yeah. Yes. I feel like that's kind of a great place to end. But before we do, I wanted to say, I think that off that point is that, like, if you were sitting here and you were like, most of the times when we get stuck in a place or we're overwhelmed, if you took those foundations or those things that are really innate in us and you just honestly checked in, like make a checkbox, like, do I eat a variety of whole real foods?
Yeah.
Do I drink enough water? Do I move my body daily? Do I get outside daily? Am I sleeping regularly enough hours? Majority of people, even people with like quote unquote healthy lifestyles, like there's going to be boxes that it's like, well, I'm not consistent with that. And then for a lot of people, there'll be boxes that aren't even checked anytime, anywhere.
Right.
That is, take your focus on those boxes of your foundations and work and ask for support if you need it, but figure out simply, not easily, but simply, how are you going to get outside for 20 minutes a day? Yeah. How are you going to move your body? Your choice. Don't overstress. Be like, I need to do strength training, Pilates, and this. Like, if you're not moving regularly, just figure out, what do you like? How are you going to move your body for 20? Yeah. Then after that is a commitment, then you kind of look back and be like, okay, refine it. It is so much, it's a waste of our time. It would be a waste of my time and energy right now to say, okay, it's fall. I'm going to do this regimented kind of meal plan. Now I have time because my kids are in class. I'm going to get to 5 different, or in school, I'm going to get to multiple different classes a week. I'm going to do, like, that would just be causing more stress.
Yeah.
It actually feels really good to say, oh, I'm going to be able to get in like a midday walk, or I'm going to have a little time to food prep and there's going to be good foods. I'm going to call a friend and make, plans once a week. Like, that feels good to me, like Absolutely. Excited. I want to do that and it's just that like little bit of shift that it's like the trust that what we need is within ourselves, like you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. So hopefully this was motivating and helpful and you could relate to maybe something that Janine is experiencing or myself with younger kids. Probably a little bit of both because they really do cross over because it is the same.
Yeah.
It just looks a little different as you move through different stages of your life. We are excited to be back with new episodes as we move through this year 2. We want to hear from you guys. We have some great episodes planned and some guests lined up. But if there is anything you want us to talk about, please share that with us. But until then, we are back on a regular basis on Mondays with fresh episodes. Thanks you guys. Everyone.